So I never got to tell him what I've just told you, what an inspiration he was, what an amazing bloke he was. And, it's to my lasting regret. And I think sometimes, we need to remind ourselves to do that a bit more often. And I guess, I think we're right for a bit. I guess the next time I had to sort of confront somebody leaving me was my grandma. And of course you expect that, don't you? Your grandma dying, it's pretty much a given. But weirdly, did I say something funny? Any grandmothers in? Has anyone bought you a drink this evening? Make sure they taste it first. You know what I mean. Oh no, I feel really, really awkward now. I might just skip that bit. But there was, in stark contrast to the vicar at my mate's funeral, the vicar there said something that I found really helpful. And he said, when somebody who's older, much older than you, madam, leaves us, we feel like we shouldn't be sad because, we expect it. But he said, actually, it's the opposite. They've always been there. They've been a major part of our world. So, you're right to be upset, and it's okay. Have a cry. And I thought, I wish someone had said that to me at my mate's funeral, because that was really what I needed to hear at that point, and it was properly comforting. Now, just a little while before she left us, as it happens to a lot of people who live to a ripe old age, and she was in her 90s, she was starting to kind of descend into dementia a little bit. And we had a birthday party for her, and it was really noticeable that at this party, she honed in on one person, and he was my nephew, who was just a little toddler or even a baby in arms. I can't remember at the time, but he was certainly very young. And there was this incredible connection. So it's like the next generation on was just starting to happen. My brother's wife had a baby. And it felt to me like as her consciousness was sort of just starting to shut down, his was just coming up. And it almost felt like she was passing on the baton, and she was saying, I've had my go, and now it's your turn, you carry on. And I take real comfort in that, because it's just sort of, it just shows you the cyclical nature. Nothing really ends, it just gets passed on. And ultimately, things have to make way. We see it in nature all the time. And when you start a family yourself, I think you become painfully aware of that. You really sort of not only are aware of the fact that they're going to carry on your legacy, you also think about what role you're going to have to play in that, and whether you're going to be a good influence or a bad influence. And it's actually kind of exciting and daunting at the same time. I know there's a lot of parents here. And when we started a family, I remember the other thing is, you get so much bloody advice from everybody, don't you? And a lot of it quite negative. And so if anyone here is starting a family, just tune out the negative shit, because honestly, the whole thing is great. But the other thing was, probably from a lot of drama and films and stuff, I was expecting that when I first clapped eyes on my baby, I would be like smacked by this tsunami of love. And it was an incredibly exciting time, and an amazing experience. And of course, I fell in love with my baby daughter, but actually my focus was on my wife at the time, and it took a little bit longer. And I think it might be again about sort of as her consciousness started to come to the fore, and she started to really make communication and look me in the eye and smile, then it suddenly hit me. So it was a few weeks in, and I felt like it was just a really potent time. There was all this potential with this new life. Who is she going to be? What's she going to become? And what influence am I going to have on that? And I also felt it was very beholden on me personally to try and keep growing in myself and keep developing. And luckily, it was a great time for me. I had lots of things going on. I was here in Bath, and I've been here a little while, and the sort of connections that I'd been making were starting to filter through, and I was doing live stuff, and I was starting to work with theatre productions, and I got to write music for my first film, which is quite exciting. And so I went off to see the premiere of this film. Now, don't get excited, you will never ever see this film. It was a low/no budget production, but nonetheless, it was a film. And so I was on the train to go up and see this premiere, And I got a little notebook out and I started writing a poem for my baby daughter because I wanted to just let these feelings come out in some kind of order that I could make sense of. And went up, spent the weekend, saw the film, had a great night, stayed over with a friend, had a few drinks, and the director said he wanted to make a video of one of my songs, and I was thinking, this is great, the world's good, I've got a baby daughter who's going to grow up to be whatever, and things are starting to happen for me personally, it's wonderful. So I got on the train to come home, and I got my notebook out again. I turned to a clean page, and I thought, right, I'm going to write a note to the universe to say, no holds barred, this is what I'd like to happen. So it was pyramid stage appearance at Glastonbury. Top of the pops. I'll buy a house in Cornwall, and another one near my family in Germany. And I can't remember, there's other things, but they were the highlights. And send it out into the universe and see what comes back. And the universe answered almost instantaneously in a very oblique fashion, to the extent that I didn't even recognise it until quite a while afterwards. But what happened was this guy got on the train with a guitar, and he's in his own world. He's got headphones on, and he's recording away, and he's playing around these chords. Sits at the end of the carriage. Excuse me. And a bit like my friend Alistair, I was kind of instantly in awe of the guy for being able to do that completely without any self-consciousness. He was in his own world. There was no ego about him. He wasn't showing off. And I turned to the page where I've been writing the poem for my daughter and started kind of humming along to his chords and thought, oh, I realised that I could make a song out of these words to this stranger's chords on the train. So I had a look and sort of wrote them down, and tinkered around, ended up with the basis for a song, and I'd given him the thumbs up and while he was doing it. So he finished up, packed all his stuff up, and he came and sat in the empty chair next to me, and we got chatting away, and I thought, great, this could be the start of a new collaboration. He's on the train, he's coming my way, we're both going home potentially, and I said, are you going away, are you going home? He said, no, I'm off home. I've just bought a house near Cheddar, where I grew up. And I said, oh, nice, you're doing all right for yourself then, because he was a young bloke. And he said, yeah, I'm doing all right, yeah, things are pretty good. I've just been in the Maldives with a band, shooting a video. Actually, I've just blown the story. I didn't tell you that bit till later. Anyway, but that's throwing me out, isn't it? Oh. He said, yeah, I'm doing all right. I've just bought a house near Cheddar, and near my folks. and I said, oh, you in a band? You doing much at the moment? And he said, yeah, I'm in a band. We're doing all right. We're called Reef. That's good. I knew that would happen. It's like split the audience down, on age lines. So during the mid to late 1990s, Reef were riding high in the charts, and so it's just sort of a few years before I met this guy. And they'd played the Pyramid stage at Glastonbury. They'd been on Top of the Pops. He'd just bought a house near his folks. It's like, hold on, you're living my life. But I didn't twig, actually. The Maldives thing gave it away a little bit. I didn't twig straight away who Reef was, because I said, I think I've heard of you. I think we've done festivals together. And thinking some little festival out in the middle of nowhere. And of course we had. While he was playing the Pyramid stage, I was off in a cafe in the Greenfields at Glastonbury somewhere. I'll put that down. It's a bit awkward, isn't it? I would pass it around, but I'm not going to. So no, so then we came through Box Tunnel, and after that, he went, oh, there's Peter Gabriel's place over there. So yeah, we recorded there. Yeah, nice guy. We played lots of table tennis together. And then the penny dropped, and I realised who Reef was, and I suddenly become pathetically tongue-tied, and I kind of reverted back to this kind of like awkward, geeky, middle-class bloke. Whereas we'd just been two blokes on a train up until that point, having a lovely chat, and now suddenly it felt like if I was to say, oh, let's keep in touch, it would feel like I was trying to, get something out of it. But what I did do was I wrote a song, I got home, I finished it, and I recorded it, and I did try to send it to him via his management. I've no idea if he ever heard it. He's not come knocking on my door, that's for sure. But since we're all still here, and I don't think we're going to be chucked out just yet, I'll play you the song because of this. So this was for my baby daughter, and it's called To Have or To Be. A natural state of grace falls upon your face. Rays of brilliant sun Light up everyone, light up everyone, set me free. You let me see choices here within me. The magic that you see has set the cynic free. The joy that's in your heart was with him from the start, always there from the start. Set me free, you let me see choices here within me, deep within me. Set me free, you let me see choices here within me, to have or to be. A pure and simple love shines from up above. The prism of your birth brings it to focus here on earth. Set me free, you let me see choices here within me, deep within me. Set me free, you let me see choices here within me, to have or to be. Jaded and the old must rally and be bold. You teach them what they know, and you let what's hidden show. You set me free, you let me see choices here within me, deep within me. Set me free, you let me see choices here within me. You set me free here within me, deep within me. You set me free to have or to